First off, we'll be having a one-on-one session. So if you want to participate in that, make sure you are on the Hack at UCI Discord, using this website. If someone could relink the website in the chat so people can sign up for it and join, that'd be great. But I guess we'll get started. Welcome to our LinkedIn workshop. We'll introduce ourselves. So
Yeah, so my name is Patrick. I am currently the ICSSC Student Council Events Chair. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm currently a third year computer science major, and my LinkedIn is Patrick A. Nguyen. So feel free to add me on LinkedIn. And our other presenter is Lauren.
hello, my name is Lauren Yu. I'm a Hack corporate organizer, pronouns she, her, hers, third year computer science, and my LinkedIn is Lauren-U. So also feel free to add me. We love those connects, you know? So first off, I'll hand this off to Patrick.
Yeah, so before we get started, right, since our LinkedIn workshop, we first need to go over what is LinkedIn, right? Before we tell you the tips and tricks, we need to tell you about LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is pretty much a professional networking website, right? And a lot of people use it for job hunting and connecting with recruiters, right? And especially important that if you don't have it already, you should have it at LinkedIn because it's really important to develop a professional presence online. So the first step you probably should do, right, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, is to make one, right? So if any of you in the audience have not made a LinkedIn profile, already, go to linkedin.com and make one right now. It shouldn't take you that long. Then one of the first, Then one of the first steps you probably do is when you first make your LinkedIn profile, right off the bat, it probably has your name and a bunch of random characters, right? So one tip I highly recommend is you have a professional URL, right? So as you see here, Lauren's URL is Lauren-U, right? In order to change it yourself, right, you just go to your settings and you go to edit. If you see here in the picture, right, you go to edit profile picture and URL, then you go to edit custom URL. Then afterwards, you can go see your, you now have a new custom URL, right? So be sure to put like something professional, right? Your name, right? Don't put something like gamer Patrick XX, something like that, right? Be sure to make it some professional, right? Because LinkedIn's a professional network.
We will be answering questions at the end of this, so keep that in mind. Next thing you should probably do as well is to achieve 100% completed profile. How to do that is essentially filling out all this information at the top of your profile. If it is not 100% completed profile, it will actually say it and tell you to like fill it out, but you want to fill it out as soon as you can. That way recruiters can actually see your profile and actually come up in their database as well. So if you don't do that, it kind of creates issues. Now, you want to put the simple things like your industry, current position, positions, education, skills, profile picture, but also at least 50 connections. 50 connections is kind of a tall numbers. So if you want, you can add everyone here. So this is perfect, right? There should be a bunch of you guys here. So, but yeah, next thing is how to improve your profile. And so this essentially is us starting to give you tips on like how to make your profile look different than others. And you can do this by having a headline title and a background. Now, a headline title is essentially right under your name. It'll say like whatever. Usually, it'll kind of say your position, like, oh, I'm a student at UCI or something like that. But you want to actually customize it to be something that's more current for you. So typically what I usually do is I kind of split up into three things: what you're searching for, upcoming title, and current title. So for me, I have searching for fall 2021 opportunities with a bar, incoming SWE intern at JP Morgan Chase, that's what we'll be doing this summer, as well as my current position as a Hack at UCI corporate organizer. Now, not everyone has these kind of opportunities. So what also works as well, and what many of you guys will probably be using instead, is searching for summer 2021 opportunities, as well, and putting a bar, computer science student at UCI. And these are both perfect examples of what you could do. It just kind of gives a better way for recruiters to like easily know what you want essentially. So searching for the 2021 opportunities is a great way for recruiters to be like, oh, this person might be like interested in the job position that I have. So make sure you update that. And then another thing is putting a background, and you just essentially want anything that's different from the default LinkedIn background. It could be like a photo of your city that you're from, a background with your website name. I know a lot of people have that. They'll have like, if you have a personal website, you'll just put it in the back, or like club photos or club logos also work as well. Just something different, make you stand out, so you just don't blend in with everyone with the default profile. Now moving on, profile description.
Yeah, so basically, an important part is after you're done with the headline, right? As Lauren covered here, the next part is your profile description. Like a big part of LinkedIn, right, is uh, a big part of LinkedIn is being able to showcase your personalities and skills, right? While also adding a little bit, you're able to add a little bit more personality, right? So right here, Lauren's very nice description here, where she basically talks about some of her experiences and things she's interested in, right? For example, you see that Lauren is experienced with Java, C++, Python, and she's also interested. You also showcase what kind of fields she's interested in, right? Like here, fintech and project managing, and also you also show a little bit more personality, right? Like at the end, Lauren is a snowboarder and plays video games, right? So but be sure to showcase your personality, but keep it a balance, right? Because you don't want to be too unprofessional, right? Another tip I highly recommend is improve your work experience. Experience is probably the most important thing you put on LinkedIn, right? Because it's like essentially a resume. One little tip like this is a small little tip, but make sure each of your experience has a logo that goes along with it, right? It's like a little small thing, but it goes a long way, right? Because it actually shows that your experience is just like has a legitimate background, for example, right? Because you're a lot more likely to believe that um, your experience is the actual organization if it has an actual logo with it, right? And in addition, be sure to attach links to your resume, not apologize, to your LinkedIn profile. You see here, right? Yeah, Lauren has some links to some of the experience she had, right? So this is for like maybe if your recruiters are interested in learning more about your experience, they can go to these links and be able to see more information, right? So you'll be able to go. So like, and since LinkedIn for your resume, normally you keep it to a page, right? But since it's not a resume, right? It's a website. You could be a lot more in depth than normally you would be with a resume.
Exactly. Another thing that you can do is showcase your accomplishments. One thing that you guys can all do, so if you guys are like freshmen or sophomores, don't have a lot of experience, but you still want to like put something on your LinkedIn, what you can do is add your courses, your school courses, like put your ICS 130. Someone's is in 33, so make sure you put ICS 33 in there. I'm sure some of you guys are also in ICS 6B and whatnot, so just put those in your course. Your accomplishments. That way, if recruiters look at your profile, you can still see that you still have experience in programming, which kind of makes you stand out from other people who may not have it as well. If you have any personal projects, make sure you link that as well. So link your GitHub and everything. So you can put that up there as well. Any awards you have, whether it be like Dean's List, throw it in that as well. Just get everything that you can. And any organizations that you're affiliated with as well. That way, the organization thing is kind of like a small thing, but it might go a long ways. Like whether or not maybe a recruiter might look at it and be like, oh, like I was a part of that club when I was an undergraduate as well. So I was just finding like similarities like that, something that might make the recruiter like you a little bit more as well. Another thing is skills and endorsements. Now, I'm pretty sure you may have heard endorse for endorse. Make sure to endorse your friends, but also have them endorse you back. The endorsements kind of give more of a legitimacy to your profile, so they're always good to have as many as you can. Another thing is having your skills updated. So whether every time you learn a new language, make sure you put that in one of your skills. And it's important to put keywords that make it easy for recruiters to see what you're capable of. For example, a lot of recruiters will look for specific words like specific languages, like they might look for like keywords like big tech or something like that. So you just kind of want to put these keywords there to make it easier for recruiters to figure out if you are a good match for the job that they have. You can ask literally anyone to endorse you. If you want, I will endorse you later if you add me on LinkedIn. So just keep that in mind.
So our last thing we like to cover, really, the last main thing we like to cover is interest, right? So one thing, interest is a nice way to show off, like as the name implies, what you're interested in, right? So be sure to follow companies you're interested or you work for, right? It shows if you're applying for internship, right? Showing the company, following the company shows that you're interested in the company and shows that you're interested in what they do, right? And interests are also another way to illustrate what industries you're interested in, people maybe you admire, right? Some things you're involved with, right? So it's a great way to show off your personality and what you're interested in with your interests here.
And some final tips. Whenever you meet someone at like a networking event, feel free to get their LinkedIn. I've actually been able to do this at a few career fairs, like social dinners, as well as just like meeting someone just in real life. And so like definitely I like to have the LinkedIn app like on my phone. That makes it really easy for me to like just add anyone on the spot. And you might, who knows, maybe they'll give you an internship. Um, Another thing you want to do is link your LinkedIn on your job applications. That way, like if they're a little more curious about what your link like, about your experience, they can go to your LinkedIn and find more information, which is why it's also good to have those links. So like, for example, if someone was interested in my Hack at UCI experience, they can go to my LinkedIn and then see that I have links there about the organization. So it just makes it easier for the recruiter to kind of figure out what you're good at and like who you are. Another thing is try to keep a balance between being personable and professional. So on your resume, you can't really show too much personality. There's not enough space for it. But on your LinkedIn, you can. You can put in like hobbies as well as like being a little bit more fun in how you word things, and also go a little bit more in depth. So just try to keep this balance between being like showing some of your personality as well as still being professional and not being, and just making sure that you're still appropriate for a professional setting. Another thing is just keep it updated. So anytime you finish a quarter, make sure you add those classes, make sure you add any experience or even updating your current experiences. Like I'm also currently working for the school as an IT as a part of the help desk IT, and so anytime that I learn something new on the job, I always add it to my LinkedIn as well. So just keeping these things in mind can help you like create a more legitimate LinkedIn profile. I think that's it for us for now. So if anyone had any questions, we'll take them from the chat. I think we saw one earlier about your LinkedIn profile, your LinkedIn URL. The old LinkedIn URL does persist if you change it. So if you have it on anything else, people will still be able to find you with that previous LinkedIn URL. Although it is nice to have a more professional one for like this point onwards. So, but you don't have to worry about people not being able to find you from this point onwards as well. Any other questions about LinkedIn? If we don't have any questions, we can move on to our one-on-ones. So that way, the skills and assessments, they're not too important. I would say the skills will probably be the most important. Assessments, not as much. The assessments kind of just give more of a legitimacy to your skills, but definitely just having the skills there and just listing them is what will help recruiters see if you're fit for the job. Because a lot of times when you read a job description, it'll have like, oh, it needs to be proficient in like Python and C++ and like have all these small like details. And if you have those small details in your profile, it'll definitely make you stand out in comparison to others. Do I ever cold message people? I don't cold message people unless it's someone I've met personally. So one example is in one of my classes, there was this senior engineer who gave a presentation, and he actually gave his LinkedIn afterwards. So I did give him a message, basically saying like, hi, I was like really appreciate your presentation. I would love to be, I'm interested in some of the intern opportunities that you have later on. And so I guess that's an example of cold messaging, but I kind of knew him before, or I know of him. And so he was nice enough to like, let me know about when the internship applications open up. Is it recommended to put a resume or LinkedIn? So a resume on a LinkedIn, I did do that for some time, but overall I felt that was unnecessary because the same information is already on my LinkedIn application. But also I didn't like that on my resume I do include like my email and my phone number and all these like very personal information. So I didn't really want to like present that on my LinkedIn just for my own safety and my own security. I know some people who do put it on. I had it on for a time, but I ended up removing it. It's kind of a personal thing, and like if you want to do that, but I don't see why it would be a bad idea. Other than like maybe your security and your phone number and your email.
Yeah, because like anyone could just go to your profile and just find
Mhm.
your phone number, so be careful with that.
Any other questions? I say LinkedIn's a very powerful tool. Also, it's really easy to apply to jobs through LinkedIn as well. A lot of recruiters may actually add you on LinkedIn as well, and you can connect that way as well. If anything, it's just a great way to get started for your professional presence online, as spoken earlier. Yeah. Any other questions? If that is it, do you want to start moving to our Discord? I can first.
Sounds
Oh,
sounds
great.
good.
Okay. Before we move on to the Discord, actually, I'm gonna give a quick tour on like how this workshop is gonna work out, because it is still like online workshops are kind of a new thing for all of us. So one thing we want to do is so essentially it's gonna be a one-on-one. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Whoops. Make it bigger. Great. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. So on the hack server, if you go all the way down, there's something called a LinkedIn workshop. So what we want you guys to do is that we're gonna have a recruiter in each one of these rooms. But before just like jumping in there, I'll actually be managing the room. So if you just go into the weight room, just kind of like chill in there, and then go to the weight queue text file, and then just type in like hello or something, just to mark your line in the just to mark your spot in the line. This queue section will essentially like the line will be based off this text channel. So whoever comes first in the text channel will be who I sent over into one of the rooms, and we'll have everyone waiting here for you. So if everyone can just start moving to this chat room down here, that'd be great.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll keep this a little bit. If anyone has any questions about this, feel free to message it. I can definitely answer some questions. But yeah, that way you can get a one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Lauren meant reviewers, not recruiters. We're not recruiting.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. No one's recruiting.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Reviewers. And then if we can have our reviewers kind of pick a room and just stay in there for now on Discord. Thank you. If you can just wait in the waiting room with us, and then I can just move you guys in, just a reiteration. Perfect. Great. Make sure to mark your spots.
Yeah, be sure to just say anything, really.
Yeah.
Like me or.
Perfect. Okay, I think we can close the Zoom here then.
If you want to join the Discord, make sure to go to hack.ics.uci.edu and join from there. Fill out the form at the bottom. Then you'll get an email with the invitation.
Yep. Right. I think we can stop recording, right?
Yep, sounds good.
Perfect.